Hi guys, this is my first YouTube clip on foiling, windsurf foiling, and I've been doing windsurfing foiling since March. I've progressed quite a lot, and there's been a bit of request for me to talk through some of my stuff and how I've got into it. So this is just my foiling equipment. So we'll start off with the mast. This is a starboard super cruiser mast, 85cm mast. It's aluminium, quite heavy, but yeah, it's really good, really strong. It's really got me going. The fuselage, okay, is the standard one that comes with the Super Cruiser. It's aluminium again. These are quite crucial. This is where the back fin fits. So the back wing, note I use some old cycling arm leg coverings just to protect it. So this is the 360 back wing. Obviously that sits on the back of the foil there. And there's an adjustment about that, and that's really important, and I'll talk you through that another time. And obviously the mast will fit straight in like so. The arrow tells us which direction we're windsurfing in. The front wing, which obviously is the important bit, for me, I wanted the Super Cruiser because it's got a really big front wing. Now I know that other brands do something similar, but this is a 1700 front wing. And this is quite important to have a big front wing to get the extra lift that you need when you're starting out. Now, I've found that with the front wing on there and the back wing on there and the slight adjustments will give me, when I have it fully back, just enough lift to get out and to keep some speed. But there is a compensation of speed and lift that you can make depending on some of the adjustments of the foil. Now, there are other brands that do some similar stuff. But my biggest recommendation would be to make sure you've got a big front wing. Okay? Now, some of the practicalities of foiling that I've come across with just this setup. This setup cost me 800 quid. So I wanted to make sure that I protect all my stuff. So I use just old cycling bits and wetsuit bits to just wrap it up and protect it. And I also bought this duotone bag for about 30 quid just to keep it in, and conveniently I keep other stuff in there like fins and mast foots and stuff like that. The important stuff is to keep all your connective bits that you need organised. I've got a picture there of how the setup is, and I've bought extra nuts and bolts and things like that from different providers. This stuff, Tef Gel, protects the screws as well. Now this all looks like it costs quite a lot. It doesn't actually cost that much, but I'll talk you through this a separate time if you need me to. The main bolts are the ones that go into the top of the mast that join onto the board. Okay, and I use torque bolts because they're really good for making sure that you get some good torque on it. Also note that I use a hand ratchet rather than an electric one because you don't want to over tighten and break it. Okay, so yeah, this mast basically is a deep tuttle fin fitting, and that will fit straight into any deep tuttle board. So I'll just go over to the boards. So I started off with just a standard board. This is an old standard slalom board I bought second hand for 250 quid off some random in Exmouth. It goes really fast. But I wanted to have a go at foiling. I bought the foil, didn't have any money left, so I just tried it in the deep tuttle fin box here. There's a little bit of damage to it now, but it's not too bad. I actually ended up using some epoxy resin and going through a process of some advice from Chris, a really experienced guy I know, who helped me out to actually reinforce it. So I did actually end up reinforcing the back fin, and I used epoxy and plywood to do that. And it hasn't made a significant difference to the weight. I don't use this for foiling much anymore because I've managed to get a cheaper and more appropriate board, which is the 105 Hypersonic. And I actually paid less money for this. I bought this for 50 quid from some random in Plymouth. And the difference I found is that this one is wider. There's less volume, so it sinks when I'm up hauling. Once I'm up and it's wider, it feels more like a bigger platform to stand on. And also it's got the cutouts in the back, so it encourages the lift off the water straight away. And one of the practicalities I've come across with this board is that these bolts, because of the long mast, don't actually line up correctly, so I've ended up getting a bit of a discrepancy there. And going back to the bolts and nuts and stuff, making sure you get the correct bolts and the torque screws to go into the deep tuttle fin, as this one is again, is really important. And I've found with this board, especially now I'm getting a little bit better at foiling, is that the foot straps, I can move them to make my balancing easier once on the water, and I can actually get both feet in the foot straps and go and turn, whereas the other board, when I was learning, I didn't actually really get my foot in that back foot strap with foiling because it's not in the right place. It feels as though it needs to be more central, and this one needs to be more forward, because this is made for blasting on like a 6.5 meter sail, going 30 knots, you know, in places like Portland. Yeah, so I hope that's been helpful to start off with. Any comments will be appreciated, and I can give some more feedback and go through some more things, like the fittings, like the mast, like the angle of the fin, the foil. Just give me some feedback and let me know. Thanks very much.